Hi, I'm Gabriel. This channel is all about the stories of some great people, where I make projects and search for that bit of wisdom that set these people apart. Check them out and leave me a comment. You can also like and subscribe to see more. Wilbur Wright said men become wise just as they become rich, more by what they save than by what they receive. Hello, Bishop Milton Wright came home from church mission in 1878. With him he brought his two sons, Orville and Wilbur, the best toy of their young lives, an Alphonse Penau helicopter. And it changed history, and that's what we're making right now. Around the time that the Wright brothers were playing with spinning propellers and rubber bands, their competition, a man called Samuel Pierpont Langley, was carving himself a career in astronomy and invention. He became a director of the Allegheny Observatory and a university professor the year Wilbur Wright was born. He was illustrating sunspots while Orville was still toddling. He invented a bolometer the year Wilbur dropped out of high school with no diploma, and he became the third secretary of the Smithsonian shortly after Wilbur's teeth were knocked out in a game of ice hockey. He was also made a member of the American Antiquarian Society when Orville left high school, again without a diploma. In the 1890s, Langley's interest in aviation grew. He longed for a discovery or invention that would outshine his bolometer and put him on equal footing with people like Edison and Graham Bell. While Langley built and successfully flew the unmanned aerodrome, the Wright brothers founded a newspaper, but it failed in 4 months. They then moved on to a new business of repairing bicycles. By 1896, Wilbur and Orville had begun to build their own brand of bicycles. By 1898, Pierpont Langley won the Astronomy Prix Jules Janssen Award. And in 1899, the Wright brothers built a kite. When looking for the right team to achieve manned flight, Langley really was the obvious choice. He had Ivy League educated scientists and engineers. He had financial backing from both private sectors and the government, not to mention a national and international exposure through newspapers and reporters. By contrast, the Wright brothers had, well, each other, a sister who looked after them, a kite, bicycles, a few pennies from selling said bicycles, and an Alphonse Penau helicopter. Only theirs actually flew, which is more than I could say for this so far. Both remained up to date with the latest aeronautical science, but were distant enough from it to think outside the box. While Langley and his team focused on theory and meetings, the Wright brothers decided to treat a flying machine like a bicycle and rely on the pilot to keep it in the air. In order to do this, they needed more controls than had previously been invented. Adding roll control to pitch and yaw allowed for the first time 3D movement. The first test of this groundbreaking unstable control system was their kite that they tested in 1899, and in 1902 they implemented the technology into a glider that was to make them world famous. In mid-December 1903, Orville Wright pulled the pitch control and their plane lifted. Once the chance for glory was gone, so was Langley's interest. He quit and went on to other things immediately. By contrast, the Wright brothers spent a further 2 years improving and perfecting their design until they could stay aloft for as long as they liked and even fly in figures of 8. In 1909, Wilbur flew across the New York harbor in front of 1 million spectators, and the Wright brothers became the biggest celebrities of their day. Orville went on to become part of the original board for the National Advisory Committee for Aeronautics, NACA, which of course now today has a more exciting name, NASA. The wisdom of the Wright brothers was they saved what they had to achieve what they wanted. A toy, a kite, a bicycle, and a passion to fly. Wilbur Wright said men become wise just as they become rich, more by what they save than by what they receive. It means you and I don't need to be the cleverest or the smartest. We just have to work with what we've got. Who thought a bicycle was the difference? Everyone, up until then, was looking for a plane you put into the air and it would track its line, take you to wherever you pointed it. It was never going to work. The weather was always going to interrupt things. You were never going to get where you wanted to go. A bicycle only works with you working it. That was the difference. That's what they saved. I hope that you take something and you save it and you create something successful with it.
Nothing but good vibes. Give me that sunshine. Bring on the summertime. Bring on the summertime. Bring on the summertime. on the summertime.